What's up, everyone? Happy Friday. Today is June 23rd, 2017. Um, and before I get too far in the video, I want to first thank everyone for your support once again. Whether it means you're just watching this video, whether that means you've come up to me and asked me how my training is going, whether that means you've been able to support me financially, or you've just been able to encourage me or give me your wisdom. Um, Literally every amount of support helps in every single kind of way. And for all those who don't know, again, I'm running for the American Diabetes Association in the 2017 Chicago Marathon this coming October, making the trip from not being a runner at all from October, November of 2016 to running my first half marathon and then my first full marathon this coming October with the ADA. And in doing so, I'm attempting to raise $1,500. I'm about 25-30% of my way of my goal there. So if you are willing to help financially, I'll have a link attached to this video. But most importantly, I want to say again, thank you to everyone who is supporting me with this mission that I'm currently doing and just throughout my whole life. So thank you so much. Now, today, again, is June 23rd, 2017. I chose to make and post this video today because today, for me, is kind of a special day. It's my 10-year anniversary of being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So, as of today, I've lived with type 1 diabetes for a decade, which is crazy to think about, in all honesty. But so I thought today for the video I would kind of tell everyone watching a little bit of my diagnosis story and what normal signs and symptoms of being a type 1 diabetic or potentially a type 1 diabetic is. So looking back at my story 10 years ago, the symptoms I presented are pretty classic with type 1 diabetes. And at the time, so I was in 7th grade. I was in the summer between going 7th and 8th grade. And at this time, I also was wrestling, and in 7th grade, I think I wrestled around 100 pounds. 101 pounds was my weight class. And throughout this summer, I was dropping weight for no reason. But because I had a wrestling mindset, I was like, oh, that's awesome. Go to a lower weight class? Okay. So I didn't really think about the weight loss. So throughout the summer, I was dropping weight like crazy. And I started to get really thirsty and just going to the bathroom a lot. I thought it was really weird. My parents did too, but we didn't take actions on those signs yet. We were like, oh, you're just drinking. Well, of course you're drinking a lot of water. You're going to the bathroom, or of course you're going to the bathroom drinking a lot of water. Why wouldn't that? Makes complete sense, and kind of does. But so I continued to do that for months. And then I started to lose a lot more weight. And then what happened was, around this time, I went with one of my good friends to his lake house, and his family's lake house up in Michigan. And it was in that lake house that the sickness in my body just really started collapsing on itself. I, again, just water, losing weight. At this point now, however, I had trouble sleeping, and we weren't sure what that was from, but we were just like, all right, something's really going on. Let's make an appointment with the doctor, and we'll figure it out once you get back from Michigan. So then we made an appointment over the phone with the doctor to see them the next week or so. And then we were like, okay, well, you have an appointment. We're good. At least we did at that moment. We thought we were good. And so we just went on. But then for the next couple of days, I started something wasn't right. My friend's parents knew something wasn't right. And that's when my friend and my parents were like, you need to call your parents. You need to go home. And I was like, I'm me being the overly logical person that I am. I was like, we're leaving in 2 days. The trip was almost ending. We're leaving in 2 days, and it's a 5-hour drive one way. I'm not gonna make my parents drive 10 hours when I'm about to go home, and we already have an appointment. That doesn't make any sense. And so I didn't want my parents to come pick me up at the time. And however, my good friend was like, no, screw that. I'm calling your parents. And he called my parents, and I was all passed out during the time. And without my knowledge, he called my parents. My parents came pick me up. Next thing I knew, when I woke up once, my parents were there. Um, Again, shortening the story, I ended up just being skin and bones at this point. I think around this time I was like 60 pounds, so I lost literally 40% of my body mass, my body weight, when I was 13 at this time. And my lips were starting to turn blue, cyanosis, and all this other kind of stuff. And eventually, my parents brought me back to Illinois. The second that I was back in Illinois, my parents were like, "He's got to go to the hospital." And I don't remember any of this. My brain was done. And next thing I know, when I woke up, I was in a hospital, and a bunch of doctors were like, "Well, Garrett, how are you feeling? You're type 1 diabetic." I was like, "Oh, all right, that's cool. Just yesterday I wasn't, but today I am. All right, that's okay." And I was connected, IV, all that good stuff. But with those symptoms, the frequent urination, the drinking lots of water, the loss of weight, and then eventually throwing up and that cyanosis, those are all extreme, like eventually those early signs and then extreme signs of diabetes DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis. And what happens with that is essentially my body at this point wasn't producing insulin, and that's what a type 1 diabetic needs. Because then my blood sugar levels kept going higher and higher and higher. And with that being said, without any insulin, my body was like, "Oh, it's not that your blood sugar is high, you just don't, like, you have no insulin. So maybe we need to give you," your body gets confused as hell at this point, and your body starts metabolizing other sources, because it's like, well, we can't use the sugar, so we're gonna, raise your blood sugar more, so then hopefully we can use that as energy. And so your body starts breaking down fats and then eventually proteins, and that continues to raise your blood sugar and continues to make your blood acidic, and that just throws everything off. One of my friends told me that after talking with the parents and the doctors, that apparently I was 5 or 6 hours away from just my body shutting down. And so if my friend waited about 5 or 6 more hours to call my parents, or if I waited, said, "You know what, no, it's fine, we'll wait until we leave Michigan and I'll go see the doctor," I would not be celebrating 10 years right now. But anyways, I wanted to kind of make a video of just classic signs of DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis, and that story of me getting diagnosed. Because no one in my family has type 1 diabetes, not a single person. On top of that, it's with type 1 diabetes, there is no like you might be pre-diabetic. It's more of a metabolic thing where, like I explained earlier, type 2 diabetes is more of a lifestyle. So anyways, I feel like I'm rambling, so I'm going to end it here. But for everyone, not just with this campaign, but everyone in my entire 10 years of being a diabetic, if you've helped support me in any way through all literally the highs and lows of blood sugars, as well as highs and lows of everything else, when I got bullied because I'm diabetic and you were there to support me, or anything like that, thank you so much. It means a lot to me, and especially today, I'm really thankful for that support. So anyways, thanks guys, and have a kick-ass weekend.